Greetings, I'm Rhonda from Rhonda's Creative Corner, and today I'm going to do a video on how to make a deco mesh wreath with the method called the Pouf Ruffle Method. And it's going to be a Valentine's wreath because Valentine's is right around the corner. Let's get started. Again, today we are learning how to make the Pouf Ruffle Method of the deco mesh wreath. So here are the supplies that we will need. The supplies that we'll be using today, I'll have a 21-inch mesh in pink. I'll have 10-inch mesh in the snowball white, and I'll have another 10-inch mesh in the red. And with this you can choose. If you want to just use one thing of 10-inch, then that's fine. One thing of mesh in 10-inch, that's fine. But I choose to use two because that makes the wreath a lot fluffier, and I love a fluffy wreath. Alright, so let's talk ribbon. I'll use 2 of the 2.5-inch ribbon and 2 of the 1.5-inch ribbon. And again, this is your choice. If you want to use 4 of 2.5 or 4 of 1.5, that's really up to you, but I choose to use 2 of each. Okay, now you're going to need scissors, Chenille stems, your rotary cutter, your staple gun, and a hammer. I use this little drum, it's so cute, but I use this to hold my mesh down, and you can use anything you want when you're cutting your 10-inch mesh, or if you were cutting your 21-inch mesh, which we won't do on this type of wreath. But with your 10-inch mesh, I'll put it there and you'll see what I'll do with it. Alright, this is the sign that I will be using, and it says "Be Mine." I will also be using this piece of felt, and I'll cut different pieces to put on the back of here when I'm stapling the Chenille stems on the back, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. Also, I have these beautiful different embellishments. I'm not sure if I'll use them yet, but I just brought them so that I can show you the different things that you are able to use on a wreath. And here's another one, and then we have these beautiful roses. You will also need your glue gun, and that's all the supplies. Alright, so now I want to demonstrate how I attach my Chenille stems to my sign. What I'm going to do first is I always just take the ribbon that's on the sign off. Alright, so I'll just turn it upside down, and this is what I told you I was going to demonstrate for you. I just cut the felt into little pieces, or long thinner pieces. Alright, so you see how I got this like that, but first I'll just put some glue with my glue gun. Then I'll glue it down. Just hold it there for a second, and then I get my Chenille stem. See how I have that? And then I'll take my staple gun. Oops! And I'll just put a staple in there. And see, it doesn't go through. If I didn't put the felt, then it would definitely go through. So that helps it not to go through. And also reinforce it with a little glue. To me, you can never make anything too fall apart proof, I guess you could say. I like to make sure that my customers won't have anything falling off, so I do all I can to guarantee that. Again, I'm doing the same thing on this side. I'm gonna place it there and hold it. With my Chenille stem. And if you want to put more than one staple in there, you can. And I'll just put one. See? And there you have it. Now I'll put some glue and I'll place this to the side. I kind of like to do my signs first so that I can keep moving with doing my wreath, If I wait until I've had to get the wreath made, then I'll have to wait for all the glue to dry. So if you do this first, this will enable you to just keep moving as you're doing your wreath. So there's the sign. Alright, so now we're going to cut the ribbon. I like to use the Pro Bow, the hand ribbon holder, but I'll show you first how you would cut your ribbon if you do not have that holder. So usually I cut my ribbon 12 inches. And you can cut your ribbon, I would say don't cut it any smaller than 12 inches. And 14 would probably be the most that I would cut it. But I like, unless it's Sam's ribbon, I usually cut it in 12 inches. So I'll just take it here, get my 12 inches, and I'll cut it. And I would take each one of these and do the same thing, all 4 different mesh, and I will cut 9 because you'll need 9 of each one of them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Pro Bow the hand and show you how much easier this makes the process. So this way you can cut it all at the same time. I just make sure that it's even and they're all matching up. You just don't know how much time this saves being able to use. So see, you have all 4. So you'll save plenty of time being able to do it this way. Oh yeah, shout out to my daughter for filming for me. And my husband will be editing for me and using his music that he's created. I have such a talented family. I'm very blessed. So now I'll take 3 of each one. I'll make them even. And this is what we call dovetail. You're going to cut each end at an angle. And see how pretty that makes the ribbons look? It looks a whole lot better than that, huh? And I will do this to each type of ribbon by using 3 each time. See how beautiful? I have 2 10-inch mesh. I have this snowball mesh, and then I have this red mesh. I've already cut some of them out. I'm just going to demonstrate doing it 5 times. And as you know, most work forms have 18 tinsel ties on it. Also, like I said, I use my little drum to be able to hold the mesh in place where it won't roll while I'm cutting it. I'm going to make these 11 inches. I would say don't do less than 10. So I've done 13 one time. So I've done 10, 11, 12, and 13. But today we're going to do 11. And I'm going to give you 5 examples of this. So you just put your rotary color right at 11. And then you just cut. And here's the last one. So I'm going to put 2 of these on each tinsel tie. And there you have it. I've cut all 18 out, and now we're about to start and put the regular mesh onto the work form. Alright, next we're going to be adding our 21-inch pink mesh. But before we do that, what I want to do is to make sure that our work form is ready. And what I mean by that, you want to turn it over on the back, and you want to check all of the tinsel ties to make sure that it's not poking out where it can scratch the customer's door, or that they can poke their hands when you deliver it, or they open the box once you have mailed it to them. And so this is very important because you can also stick yourself. So if you do this beforehand, it'll make everything a lot easier for you. Okay, so I've checked them all. And then the next step that I do is I'm going to start on the inner ring. And so I'm going to have all of my tinsel ties pointing upward and ready for the deco mesh to be placed inside, okay? So now that we've done that and it's ready, we're going to get our 21-inch mesh. And what I do is I measure between 3 and 4 inches, and then I just gather it. I gather it together, and this is how that looks. And then we're ready to start. Like I said, I start on the inner ring, pull out some deco mesh to make sure that it won't be hard for you to pull it. I lay it inside. I'm going to push these down just to make sure that you're able to see what I'm doing. So you lay it inside, and then you just twist your tinsel tie. I just twist it once because you're going to be adding the other mesh in your ribbon, so it makes it a lot easier if you just twist it once. And then once you put your ribbons in, that's when I twist mine 3 times. So here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it, and I'm going to make my inner ring 10 inches. And so I just grab my mesh, I measure 10 inches, and then I place it inside. And then I'm going to fluff it. And then I do that again. Measure 10 inches. And just open it up. And the importance of measuring is that you want your poofs to be all the same size. I've tried it before I learned from the teacher who I learned from, Miss Julie. My wreaths were very uneven. And so when you measure, that makes it a whole lot better. You won't have an uneven wreath, and it looks a lot better too. I'm going to do this all the way around the top. Just measuring 10 and placing it inside. Twist once and fluff. Alright, so we have one more. You measure out those 10 inches. You open up your first one that you started on. And you place it in there. And again, I just top that one time. And then you flip. So this is how it will look. Alright. This is very important. You don't want to cut your mesh once you're finished with the top one. What you want to do is you want to take it and gather it like you have been doing. And your bottom tinsel tie, you just want to place it inside. So you're just going to lay it inside like this, and then you just tie it off. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing on the outside, except I'm going to make my outer ring 12 inches instead of 10. It's the same thing. And you're just going to go around, but measuring 12. And it's up to you how you want to do it. If you want it larger, then you make your outer poofs larger. I think the largest that I've done though is just 13, but I'm sure that you can do it more if you would like it larger. Okay, as I was making my wreath, I saw that one of my tinsel ties fell off. And so what I do with this, sometimes I will try to actually fit it into here, but it's not fitting. So what I want to do is I'm just going to put it close to it, make sure that I have enough to go around. I'm going to place some hot glue. And be careful because it's hot. And then I do it like that. And that way I'm still able to use it. And what I do is I just sit there and I let it dry. And once it dries, it stays into place. Okay, so I wanted to give you all a different angle so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to put my tinsel tie here at 10, and I'm going to measure my mesh all the way down to 22. That's going to be 12 inches. Okay, so I just grab my mesh, I pull it down to 22, I take it, and this is the tinsel tie that I just fixed. I place it inside and twist, and then I flip. Alright, I'm going to do it again. Start at 10, go down to 12, place it inside my tinsel tie, twist one time, and flip. I'm always going back, fluffing more and more. So I want it to look perfect. And again, this is going to be the last one. And then you see how this already has this part in there? It's going to stay. You just untie it. You place it in there. And you turn it into your fluffing. I want to get stuck a little bit. There we go. Alright, so now that we've done that, I take the end part, put it at 10, and you're going to just give it about 3 inches. You're going to cut 3 inches down with your scissors. So this here is about 3 inches, and so you just cut it. And with this end part, you just take it inside like that. Now as you can see, you can still see the work form, so that's what we're going to use the ruffles for. The ruffles will be able to cover this up and make it look even fuller. So I'm going to take this mesh. I like for it to be even. So I'll just take it and cut it even. And then that's what we'll do with that. And then you can store this, and you're able to use this for another wreath. You have, see how much you have left? You have quite a bit left. I don't know if you would be able to do a whole wreath with this, but I'm sure you could find something to do with it. Now we're going to add our ruffles. So what you're going to do is you take them apart because you've cut them together. You lay it flat, and then you're just going to gather. And this is how that looks. Then you take your red. And gather. So that's how it's going to look. Then you take your work form that already has your 21-inch mesh on it. You untie it. Make sure that you untie it. You don't want to put it on top. You want to untie it and add it to it, okay? And you're just going to place it in the middle like this. And still, I just twist it one time because you're going to add your ribbon. And so I like to take it and fluff it out. So that's how that looks. Sometimes it tries to scoot away from you. So just pull the tinsel ties and bring it back towards you. Look. And lay it flat. And gather. And don't be afraid to grab the mesh. It's not going to fall apart. You may have some fraying a little bit, but if you get the quality mesh, you won't have as much. I usually get most of my mesh either from Craft Outlet or Trendy Tree. And I will put all of the links to where I get all of my supplies, or the different stores also, my supplies, at the end of the video. And you'll be able to see that. Again, you untie, place it in the center where you've gathered. Make sure it's in there tight, push it down. and twist once. And see, with this you have to open this back up because it's showing too much mesh. Too much of the work form. So you kind of want this to kind of fill in the inside of it. And you won't see. So see how it's covered now? So you're going to have another row on top. Okay, so if you see a little area where you can see the work form still, just kind of pull your 21-inch mesh up into there and see how that does. Now you're going to have the 2 layers going all the way around, even in the front, and so it's going to look really, really full. Here, I'm going to show you from a different angle. My mesh won't stay back. Get on back, mesh. It's kind of hard sometimes because the mesh will start sticking together. See? This is how it looks. You always want to have it in the center. Okay, so I'm finishing up the top, and I wanted to show you that it's the exact same thing that you do on the top, that you do on the bottom, that you have done on the bottom. And so I've already done most of the top, so I'm going to be placing this one right here. And it's up to you how you want to put your colors, if you wanted to put red and red together, if you wanted to put, but I just still do it the same. White on the outside and red on the inside. And just flow. I have one more to go. And it's the exact same thing that you did on the bottom, that you do on the top. I have one more right here, and I'm going to place it inside there. So I say when you just twist it one time, it's so much easier for you to untwist it to get your mesh and your ribbon inside. Because if you have it twisted twice, that can make it really, really hard for you to be able to get your wreath done. Okay, so here's the finished wreath. And you can see how full it is. Alright, it's time to add the ribbon. So you remember earlier in the video, we cut our ribbon out, and we have two 2.5 inch ribbons and two 1.5 inch ribbons. And so when I cut my ribbon, I try to match it up. And so when I'm trying to pick which one is going to go with which, I wouldn't put 2 hearts together unless I had like all 4 hearts. So I'm going to match these hearts with this one. And these that say be mine and I love you. You're so sweet. I'm going to match with that one. Alright. So, what you're going to do is you take your ribbon, you place it together, you fold it in half, and then you pinch it in the middle. Pinch it or gather it, whichever one you want to call it. And it doesn't matter if you start on the outer ring or the inner ring, because you're going to have these ribbons going all the way around and you're going to alternate, okay? So you just take it, you untwist it, and see how easy that was because I just twisted it once. You place it here in the center. Make sure you push down, you know, so that it's tight inside. And this is where I twisted 3 times instead of 1. So you got 1, 2, 3. All right. And then you'll take, I just have a regular pencil that I use. And I like to curl my tinsel ties because it makes it look neater to me. But it's up to you. If you want them to stick out straight, that's perfectly fine. However you want to do it. And then you take your ribbon and you fluff it. If you see my fluff video of how to get your wreath back to the way that it was when you first bought it, then you'll understand what I'm doing. I'm fluffing my ribbon. And so you can just open it up and make it look pretty. Let's see how that looks. Stop right there. There you go. Now looks good. Alright. And you're just going to alternate. So I'm going to take these 2. Put them together. Then I'll fold them in half. Gather in the middle. Untie. And place it in the middle and push down where it's snug. 1, 2, 3. Alright, take your pencil. Twist your little ties and fluff. I don't think that I could make a wreath without ribbon. I just love my ribbon. The ribbon just makes the wreath so beautiful. And it makes it even fuller. So you see how that looks? Gorgeous, right? Alright. I'm going to show you, demonstrate one more, and then we'll do it from a different angle. Fold it in half. Open it up. Gather in the middle. Then lay it inside. Make sure it's in there tight. Twist 3 times. Once you've done it so many times, it gets easier. I know I'm always struggling trying to get it to look just perfect. Alright, so you see right here how when I cut my dovetail, how it didn't cut right. So all you're going to do is you just take it and take your scissors and cut it. See? And now it looks beautiful. It doesn't look like it's not in uniform with the other ones. Now how beautiful is that? Alright, we're going to keep on going. And we're going to do it from another angle. Put the ribbon on from another angle now. So again, you'll take your ribbon and match it up. Fold it in half. Gather it. That's how it looks. Untie it. Twist it 3 times, okay? Hard for me to see. I just wanted to demonstrate and show you, see how fluffy it is? Just gorgeous. Let's see. Alright. I'm going to finish putting the ribbon on and I'll be right back. Alright, so now it's time to add our sign. So this is the sign that we will be using. And you know we've already put our pipe cleaners, or chenille stems, whichever one you call it, on the back. And so what you're going to do is you're going to find a place that you want it to be. So I want mine to be in the center. And so I'm going to turn this around so you can see what I'm doing, okay? Alright, so I get my chenille stem and I place it through the mesh. So you're just going to find a place to pull it through, okay? On both sides. Like that. And then I will pull it through. Make sure that it's where you want it to be on your wreath. And so I'm okay with it here, okay? So then I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to take one of them, okay? And I'm just going to find the wreath form and pull it through, okay? Alright, so you see how it's right here, and all I'm going to do is just wrap this around the work form, okay? I don't wrap it that many times because I want to make sure that it's in the place that I want it to be. So if you can see how that is, I just wrapped it around and I left this just in case I need to move it, okay? And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. I'll take my chenille stem and bring it over. Make sure it's in the place that you want it to be. I usually try to find a crease where the mesh is going in to place it inside, okay? And then I just pull it. And then here, you can see this. I'm just wrapping it around, okay? Just bring it through. You can see, there it is right there, and I wrapped it around like twice. And so I'm going to go in the front of the wreath. And so now I'm going to show you how I get it to stay permanently. So I'm going to turn this back around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around a few more times, and make sure you pull it tight, okay? So I'm going to wrap around once, and then I'll take my glue gun, I'll place some glue on the wire of the work form, and then I'm going to take this around. You know, my hand's probably in the way. And so this is just making sure with using the glue, it's just making sure that it won't come apart. All right, and then you just take your wire cutters and your excess, you just make sure that you push that in so that they won't stick their finger. Alright, now we'll do the same thing on the next side. So I'm going to wrap it around and make sure I pull it tight. Wrap it around one more time. Get the glue gun. And you're just going to place the glue one down. And wrap it a couple more times. You just really just fill up or wrap it around until you cover all the glue. And then once you've covered all the glue, you see how that is right there? I've covered all the glue. I'll get my wire cutters and I'll snip it. You see that? Uh-oh. There you have it. And you just place that really tight. And so it looks neat on the back, as you can see. Very, very neat. I try to make all of my wreaths look as neat as possible. Alright. Alright, so now we have it where we have to be mine. There you go. See how pretty? Alright, so now we're going to add some attachments. Alright, so here comes the fun part. We're going to add the embellishments. And I always look at the wreath, kind of see what I want to add. I get a whole bunch of embellishments and I just kind of place them in different places and see if I like them. So take for instance, we have this heart, okay? So I think that I want to add this heart right here. I think that that would be really, really cute if it'll stay up there. So you see? And I just do kind of a process of elimination. I have this right here, and if it falls, excuse it. And I'm just going to go to different places. Say for instance, if I wanted to, I have a lot of these. I could go and I can put these going around every other one. And I just kind of use different ones. I know that I'm going to use these roses. Aren't they beautiful? So I'm probably going to do where I use 3 of them to make a triangle. And that's usually how I put my flowers. Either I go from, do one on one side over here and one on that side, or I'll do a triangle where I use 3 of them. I also have these hearts too that I could use. So it's just going and putting things in different places just to see where I would like them. And that's how I kind of choose what I want to do. And sometimes you'll put it on there. I never really put anything permanently at first because I want to make sure that I really like it. And then once I really like it, or my secret is I really don't ever really put anything permanent until after it's sold on Etsy or sold to somebody. Because if you don't put it on permanently, then you have a chance, if it's not selling, you can take stuff off and then add something different to see if it would sell then. Sometimes it's a pain because you're trying to rush, trying to get it packed so that you can get it sent off, but it seems to work well with me. I did change one of my Easter wreaths, and after I changed it, it did sell, so that's a good thing. So you can use that idea if you want to, or if you want to put your stuff on permanently at first, that's fine also. All right, we're going to start adding embellishments. Okay, so I'm going to start with these pink hearts, and these are going to go on every other one, so I needed 5 of them. So what I do is, I don't like the ribbon, I'm sorry, on it, so I take the ribbon off, and then I just cut some of it. I don't cut it too short, but I want to be able to stick it inside, and we're going to do every other one. So I want to be able to stick it inside to be able to measure it. So I know I need to cut it down a little bit more each time. So I really want to be able to see them. So you see how that is? So that's how I know about how to measure each one of them. That this would be long enough, that I kept enough of the stem on there to do it. So then I go and I just put them all together, and I just cut them evenly. Uh-oh. Flying everywhere. So I made it better where everything's not flying. So we have these ready. I have 5 of these. Okay. So now I'll get all this out the way. So now I'm going to use 3 of the roses, okay? I think I'm also going to use these leaves. So I think I'm going to use the leaves every other one after that one, but we'll see. But just in case, I go ahead and I take the leaves off and just place them aside. And I would need 5 of those too, since I'm going to be going around the outside. 4. And it's 5. So I have everything that I need right here. And then same thing with the roses. I try not to cut it too short. I leave a little length on it so that I can make sure that it's not too short, because you can always cut it, but it's a lot harder if you have to add one of the little, I can't remember what they're called, but one of these, the Floral Picks. Yeah. If you have to add the Floral Pick. So this is another thing that can happen. If you happen to cut the stem too short, you can always add a Floral Pick that will add some to the length. But if you cut it long, you can always just cut it a little bit shorter and you won't have to add this. So I get these prepared. Kind of open them up. Make sure that they look okay. And this one is beautiful. And so like I said, I'm going to use 3 of them. Alright, and you just place it to the side. I'll push all of this over to the side. Okay, so now I'm going to get this heart ready. I know where I wanted to place it, so I'm going to need something on the back to be able to put where, and that's another reason, I'm sorry, that's another reason that I do twist the tinsel ties with the pencil, because you're able to insert different things into there. So I'm going to be putting a floral pick on the back of here, and I'll show you this. I'll demonstrate on what I do with this so that you can see how I can get it to stay on there permanently. Alright, so I'm going to take the scissors and just cut the tag off and the ribbon. I don't need any of that. There we go. Alright, so here we have it. And I'm going to take a floral pick. And I don't need the wire on here, so I'll just basically just use the wire cutter to cut it off. And so I know where I want to put it. I'm going to put it right by the bee. So what I'm going to do is I will put it here by the tinsel. And see where I need to add. So here's my tinsel tie right here. If I turn it and you can see it, here's the tinsel tie. Okay, so I'm just placing it there, and I can see where on the heart I need to put it. Okay. All right, so let's prepare for this. So I saw that I needed to put it here, and so I just used the pointed end. So you take your heart and you take the pointed end, and then you just place a hole there. Okay. And then you put some hot glue. And then you just place it inside. I always like to add a little extra hot glue because nobody's going to see this, but you can make sure that it's going to be able to stay. And see? So then I'll just let this dry. Alright, so now let's start adding things. I'm going to demonstrate one of the hearts, one of the roses, and then I'll get everything finished, and then we'll come back and show you the entire wreath, okay? So what I'm going to do, you're able to see. Alright, so we're going to get the tinsel tie right here. And you have your heart, and then you're going to place it inside. Just kind of see where you want it to be, you know, how far you want it to stick out. So I'm thinking that that's far enough that you can see that pretty good, okay? So then, and then even if you wanted a thicker stem on here, you can do the floral pick also. But I'm just going to use this. This is easier for me, where I don't have to do all the extra. And this will work just fine. And if you want to, when you're doing it, if you want to just put a little hot glue there where you can make sure that it's not gonna, you know, come apart, or the stem of it is not gonna come out, and you can put a little glue there, okay? And then you take this and you just stick it in the middle of your tinsel tie that you have, and then you just press it together. And just be careful, you know, the hot glue is hot, so just watch your fingers not to burn them, and then you just hold it there. See? And there you have it. So now we have a little hearts. Alright, so now we're going to put the rose in, okay? So, as you can see, this is probably too long, but want to see where I want to put it, and I think that it'll look cute there. So then I cut it a little bit shorter. Just make sure that you have enough to be able to put the hot glue on and put it into the tinsel tie, okay? So you just take it and you're going to just cut it again, make it a little shorter. Make sure your rose is beautiful. And so then again, you'll take your hot glue gun and you'll put this end. You'll take this and you'll put it in the center. And just make sure that you're getting it all around and make sure you're putting it on tight. As you can see, this is probably going to be too long because all you're going to do is to put it into that tinsel tie, okay? So I'm just going to take it. What you're going to do is just make sure that you leave enough so that you can put hot glue on it and put it into the tinsel tie. So I'll just take it and cut it. And I have this left. And you'll get the glue gun. Alright, and you have your glue on there. And then you take your tinsel tie and you place it inside. And then you just wrap it around. Alright, and then you're able to put it how you want it to put it. And there are the roses. Okay, so now we're going to add this heart. And remember, we put the floral pick on the back. And what I did, I cut it down a little bit because it was too long to fit in there, just like I did with the other embellishments. And again, you're going to get your tinsel tie. Just make sure that it's tight and that it's around where it'll stick. So with this, see how it falls? So what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you get your piece of ribbon, okay? And I'm going to place glue on the back of the heart, okay? And then you're just going to put it on top of the ribbon. And be careful because it's very hot. Can y'all hear my son? I told him I'm in here filming. You have to be quiet. Maybe he wants to talk anyway. That's okay. Alright. So you see how that makes it stay up? So I probably will put a little bit behind the B2 and place it so it'll have even more, it'll be even sturdier. Alright, so this is what we have so far. I'm going to finish it up and then I'll come back and show you the whole wreath. So here's the finished product. The only things that I changed is I was going to put these leaves on the outside of the wreath, but I decided to put it behind the roses. And I also added these two hearts, and all I did was glue one heart on top of the other, and I put a flower pick behind it so that it would be sturdy within the wreath. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rhonda's Creative Corner. I thank you for watching. Bye-bye.